Hello and welcome back to the cesspool, and welcome back to the 25 days of Christmas. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. I hope it's a good one. And today we are back on the floor, and I'm a little bit further away from the floor. Well, the camera is. I don't know why I'm trying to make it seem like I'm not. Yeah, the camera's a little bit further away from the floor. And if you saw yesterday's video, not the car one, but the shelf review, I may have teased a little something. And I thought, well, what better time to do that than right now? So this is a complete inbox Super Nintendo, in honestly pretty solid condition, considering this particular unit was at the very least sold in 1992. How I know that, I will explain later. And this is just the control set. This is not the launch version that came with Super Mario World. It wasn't any other bundles. This is the bare minimum. That's it. It is not the Junior. It is the original model. And the box here is in very, very, very nice condition considering its age. And like, even more so than the games, who saves the box packaging, you know? It's really, really cool that somebody cared enough to save this in the 90s before, anybody cared, about preservation. I mean, maybe, no, who the hell cared about a Magnavox Odyssey box at this point? Yeah, that was over 20 years old. It was 20 years old when this came out. And, yeah, who the hell cared? But they did survive, and this survived as well. And I'm just going to briefly take a look inside. I've opened this many times before. The only thing that I don't have in the box at the moment are the AC adapter, the AC adapter and the AV cables. So other than that, everything's in here. Console's in here, controller's in there, and all the paperwork, which is honestly the most interesting thing about this. But first we'll go over the outside, we'll take a look at the packaging, see what was going on in Nintendo's marketing scheme here back in the 1990s. I just thought I'd quickly zoom in and read you the literal bullet list of system specs. All the stuff Nintendo really wanted you to know. The system of choice for the serious game player. You don't want to play that Sega thing. That's for little kids, even though that's like the opposite. That was the opposite of Sega's marketing. But that's for little kids. This is for the serious game player. And this is when, marketing for video games was getting kind of edgy. Dazzling 3D effects. And you know what? Technically, yes. We had Star Fox 2, which never released. There's a couple examples of it. Star Fox 2 was really the only game that was like really 3D. We had the perspective-based games, and we had pre-rendered sprites like in Donkey Kong Country or Super Mario RPG, that kind of thing. But there were 3D effects, I guess. Digital stereo sound. AV cables. High-tech controller. I will say, actually, you're right, Nintendo. At the time of the Super Nintendo's release, that controller was absolutely not only high-tech. I mean, high-tech. It was just a more organized. It was a better design. It was absolutely more high-tech than the Genesis. At least the 3-button one. Yeah, they had the 6-button one, and then they had all the weird-ass versions. But the Super Nintendo controller absolutely was ahead of its time. And it really paved the way, obviously, for the PlayStation controller in its general shape and everything, and obviously for the 4 face buttons and shoulder buttons as well. The Genesis didn't have that either. So, great library of hot titles. By 1992? Yes, I agree. Exclusive state-of-the-art accessories. Okay, that one's a little... Well, we got the Super Nintendo mouse, the Super Scope, I don't know if the Game Boy, the adapter was out. The Super Game Boy was out at this point, but if it was, sure, I guess they were state of the art. So for the most part, Nintendo kind of got it right. I do like that they had to put an asterisk after stereo sound because, like, it's if your TV supports that. Obviously, this is 1992, so you know. Another thing I wanted to quickly note just before I flip it over is, like on the game boxes for the Super Nintendo, obviously they kept the general theming. You know, by the Super Nintendo era, we had standardized box art and console brand design, which is cool. And the Super Nintendo's is obviously extremely iconic. But the thing that's interesting, a little fun fact, is that the 16 dots here, which, you know, it seems like kind of a weird choice with the actual Super Nintendo logo back there, the 4 face buttons, is 16 dots supposed to represent 16 bits, since it's a 16-bit console, and that was the big deal. I don't really know what this is all about. It is odd. So they put this like in the background, and then they put it in the corner here too. I don't know what the hell they were thinking, honestly. I flipped her over to the back just because it's easier for me to do that off camera than to try to like maneuver it in shot. It would just look a little wacky. So again, we got the 16 dots here. Actually it's 2 barcodes, which I'm not sure if this was like this was obviously the production one, but I guess the store threw this on. It's actually like a thick material. It's a little interesting. And then we got the Super NES control deck features custom 16-bit technology that allows for over 32,000 dazzling colors, high resolution graphics, and exciting 8-channel stereo sound. The characters will be bigger, the animation smoother, graphics will scroll or rotate in every direction. You'll see detail and phenomenal 3D effects like never before. I guess, yeah, you right. They're trying to sell you on the console because, you pick up this big box and, I thought this in the corner was kind of funny. It says, don't disconnect your NES. Everything you need to easily connect your NES and new Super NES to the same TV is included. So they actually, it's interesting that they kind of encourage you to continue to use the NES, even though, they're telling you to play the Super Nintendo now. But I guess they just wanted to keep as much Nintendo product in your living room. And I'm not sure if in 92 they were actually still producing. I know Nintendo I don't believe was. But there were probably still third-party games that were being produced for the NES. So Nintendo's still making money off of it. I suppose it made sense to just keep it going. So yeah, some of the games, Mario World, F-Zero, Link to the Past. That's an interesting choice. I guess by this point it had already become like an iconic game for the console. Being basically the sequel to, well, not the sequel, but the follow-up to really the original Zelda on NES. Special T-Shot, interesting choice. Pilot Wings, okay. SimCity, this is a very good version of SimCity, actually. It's really debatably better than the PC game. The only problem is that it doesn't actually work with the Super Nintendo mouse because it predated it. And then Super Tennis, we gotta get all the sports game, tennis, soccer, and football. Super Play Action Football. It is interesting, this is sponsored by the NFL. This was after Madden came out, so it's a little interesting that they weren't just... And there was a Super Nintendo version of Madden. Genesis got the year ones, but it's interesting they didn't just go with Madden. They went with their own kind of thing here. It is NFL sponsored though, so that's a little interesting. And then Nintendo Power ads, all that fun stuff. Need help with a game? You can call the hotline, which is, it's still kind of funny that the hotline still existed by the 90s. We were a little bit past that. And then Nintendo logo, Nintendo seal quality, all that fun stuff. I can't really get it in shot very well here, but on either side of the box, they were talking about the accessories, that being the Super Scope and the games that would work with it. And on the other side here, we got the mouse, which was the other thing, and that came out with Mario Paint. Obviously, Mario Paint's pretty well-known game. and really you would need it to play. I believe you could use the controller, but come on, what are we doing here if we're playing Mario Paint with a D-pad? So I think now it's time to open up the box. It opens up with we got a little flap here, and then pulls down, and the whole thing's in a big thing of styrofoam. So we're just gonna pull it out like this. And again, as I mentioned, the AC adapter and the EV cables are not present. We're gonna move this over to the side and see what we got going on here. And okay, so we have our controller here. Just one. Again, this isn't the set that came with Mario World. It wasn't a package, deal. It was literally just the console, bare console. We'll put that to the side. We can leave it in here. It's not doing anything wrong. Console, still in the plastic wrap. Not normally. This one stays out of the box normally, but for the sake of this, I rewrapped it. Original wrapping. Original caution wrapping. Plastic bags can cause dangerous damage or death. Throw that over here. Yeah, I'll take the controller out just for the hell of it. And this is really the interesting stuff here. So before I get into the real meat and potatoes, that being the packet here, we have to take a look at the original receipt. This is probably the most interesting thing, because this stuff is all out there somewhere. It's rare that you really see it, at the very least, like, shown. You can find them, but that they're not exactly that desirable. But original receipt. This was purchased at a Woolworth in Fair Lawn, New Jersey, and yeah, the cashier number was 0604 on December 23rd of 1992. So that is how you know this was definitely a Christmas gift, and that is how I know that at the very least it was sold in 1992, which probably means it was produced in 1992 as well. Maybe very late 91, but I highly doubt that a Super Nintendo was sitting on the shelf of any store for as long as a year. So they purchased this for $99, and they actually got the employee discount, interesting enough. So in reality, they paid $79.20. So that's it's interesting. Number one, there's a Woolworth, but more interesting that they got the employee discount. That's pretty cool. They're open Sundays in New Jersey, specifically in Bergen County, where Fair Lawn is. They have something called Blue Laws, so they're not actually open on Sundays, but or your store is legally not allowed to, but there are exceptions. I guess Woolworths had an exception. So that's pretty interesting. Oh, they're open Sunday only through the holiday season. Okay, interesting. Oh, so this guy did not purchase it on a Sunday. I'm not sure if the 23rd, what day of the week it was. We're going into this guy's little history. Luckily, he paid by cash, so we don't have a card number, because I'm pretty sure it still would have printed that. But look how simple the receipt is. It's kind of funny. So that's really the coolest thing about this, is that it has that original receipt. But other than that, there's plenty of interesting goodies in here in the original plastic box. So again, this guy is just going to go in there, hang out with that, and then I will slowly take out everything, because clearly this bag doesn't want to cooperate with me. And this is really like peak 90s Nintendo stuff here. So yeah, looking at the gunk of the all the fun paperwork, which honestly, let's be honest, that's kind of the most interesting thing here. Consumer information booklet, okay, precautions in different languages, okay, that the least interesting of the least interesting stuff in the box. Goodbye. Then we've got the original poster that would have came with probably every Super Nintendo, honestly. It's a giant advertisement, but I will carefully unfold it here. So on one side, it's a big ad for Nintendo Power. Get the power, Nintendo Power. Pretty cool artwork. Obviously, some of the more famous editions. And then here, it is a poster of different Super Nintendo games. Trying to fit everything in frame here. Now you're playing with power, super power, of course, that being the Nintendo slogan during the Super Nintendo era. Again, just really an ad for different games that were available. Super Tennis. Most of the same stuff that's on the box, honestly, but it's cool to have it in like the form of a poster like this. In the box it goes. And then we got this bad boy. It's, again, just a little Nintendo Power ad. You know, yes, I want call this number. Get Nintendo Power. Woo! Get secrets you'll never find out on your own. With a free Zelda Link to the Past Player's Guide. Wow. Subscribe today. Subscribe today. Come on, come on, come on. Alright, what do we got? Consumer information. Again, another precautions booklet. Not interesting stuff. Kind of cool that they have like the logo and stuff. This is really the only time that these logos were used. Other than just some very basic packaging. Alright, now we got the actual instructions manual. You know, how to set it up, basics of the control deck, yada yada yada, different sections, how everything works, your different types of TV connections, AC adapter, yeah, there you go, this is what you would be seeing. Back of the control deck, all that fun stuff. It's cool to see, and this stuff is in such nice condition. I don't know who owned this, who got it for their Christmas present back in 1992, but they clearly cared about the packaging, and they knew that what they had might be worth something someday. You've got state-of-the-art hardware, now get state-of-the-art power. Plus over 140 pages of Super Mario World tips for free. Again, another Nintendo Power ad. They really couldn't stop jamming that down our throats back in the day. Pretty cool stuff, but, you know, it's just a mail-in ad. Okay. I want state-of-the-art power. Yes, give me unlimited power. Crank up the power. Okay. And this is pretty interesting. This is the full-size poster. So big it won't even fit in the frame. So let's zoom it out a little bit. This poster is actually so large that I've just decided to pick up the camera and just quickly show it. So on the back here is the instructions, like the direct instructions step by step on how to set up your Super Nintendo. And goes into some pretty decent detail. It's pretty cool again to have, you know, all of the Nintendo ads of the time with, you know, the little help call center number up at the top. They're like, oh, you're gonna have trouble plugging this in? Well, don't worry, we got your back. And here's the other side of the poster. This is obviously the most interesting side of it. It's kind of like a bigger version of that smaller poster that they had. A bunch of different games available. Big Super Nintendo logo. But this is just huge. Like, this is my hand on this thing. You know, this could actually go on a wall. And it really is awesome, especially to have it in this condition. Like, this is not unfolded very often. It honestly makes me wonder what, you know, maybe like the guy already had the kid already had a Super Nintendo in 1992, and like, you know, the aunt or uncle bought it thinking that the kid didn't have it because they didn't know the kid very well. I don't, and that sat in the basement. I mean, who knows, honestly. It's just so interesting. Everything is here, and it's in such nice condition. Like, this was probably not owned by a kid, or if it was, then the packaging was saved by the parents for one reason or another. It's very, very fascinating. So that's pretty much everything that was in the Super Nintendo box back in the day. Again, I'm missing the AC adapter and the AB cables. I own them. They came in the box. I don't have them. They're not accessible to me. So I just took what I could, tried to set it up correctly, all that. Since this box, again, is usually empty. So, yeah. That's pretty much what it would be like opening this guy up on Christmas morning, and more likely than not, a kid did open this up on Christmas morning. Again, I don't know, you know, maybe it is interesting that all this paperwork is in such good condition. You'd think that the kid would want to set up the poster. I know I would have, honestly. I wish Nintendo gave that for, you know, GameCube, Wii, even the Wii U. That would have been pretty cool. But no. back in the 90s, things were different. So, yeah, that's pretty much all that was available. And, unless you had a game pack included, sometimes you would get a box or an insert or something, but a lot of times you just get the cartridge in the styrofoam. But other than that, this is pretty much it. If you got a bundle, things would be a little bit different. But, yeah. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for sticking around for the 25 Days of Christmas. We're happy to be doing it. We're having a lot of fun doing it, and we're hope that everybody's enjoying it. It does definitely seem like it is doing pretty well. So we're always very happy to see that. So, whatever you celebrate, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. I hope it is a good one for everybody out there. If you are keeping up with these videos by the day, I will see you tomorrow. And if not, I don't know when the next video will be, but I'll see you guys then.
So that's the new Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
What about it?
They say it has 16-bit technology, whatever that means.
Oh, I see. What else do they say?
That it has 3D graphics and digital stereo sound, and that Super Mario World is included.
Okay, we'll get it for him. So, how long did he work on you?
About 2 weeks.